Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video, we are looking at the Wave Quantum. It is time for another update. And in the case of this chart, I am tracking a similar structure and a similar pattern to what I have on the INQ chart, but we have a slightly more simple aspect here. I only have this idea of a complete Wave 1 to the upside being in place, where I would expect now to form a larger Wave 2 correction. Technically, it could have fulfilled the minimum expectations, and technically, I could track the same additional scenario we have on the INQ chart, where this could theoretically be a double 1-2-1-2 setup. In some aspects, it might even work out better in the case of this chart, as within this as an internal wave 2, we would have actually reached the levels of support before extending directly higher. Nonetheless, we have reached the large wave 2 area of support, so I do not really need to consider the other scenario too much, right? The levels of support have been reached, the minimum expectations have been fulfilled, and I can look for the next wave to the upside to be a realistic outcome, possibly within a wave 3. Now, just as a quick reference to the larger time frame perspective, in the case of this chart, we actually have a couple of options. We could expect both a 3-wave pattern and a 5-wave pattern in this overall construction to the upside. And depending on how the next wave to the upside develops, which we expect in both scenarios, we would get a better idea of whether we can expect a wave 4 correction and a wave 5 to follow once we have a more substantial top in within, yes, this next said wave to the upside. The larger context as to why this is the case on this chart has been explained several times in the past. Let me know if you actually want to have this covered in the next update for this stock, but today we will focus on the smaller time frame. Now, in this smaller time frame wave 2 correction, I am looking to reach the levels of support within a 3-wave pattern, which technically could be complete. The levels between $22.35 down to $15.50. As long as we do not get a sustained break below the last level of support, the 78.6% retracement, I can still favor continuation to higher prices within what could be a quite explosive movement. In addition to that, I have identified some structural support levels we can watch out for when looking for a more substantial bottom to potentially form as we extend deeper into this area of support. And I can already see the questions in your mind. Yes, it is possible to have a bottom in. We don't need to extend deeper into the area of support, but if we are to build this as a large wave 2, I might actually prefer that scenario. Now, with that said, in terms of the structure we have already in place, I could identify this to potentially be building something like an A, B, C pattern, in which case, within the wave C, I could be looking to build an ending diagonal. At this point, I would have to prefer this idea, as I cannot clearly identify an impulse. We have retraced a bit deep within this to be a valid wave 4. So I actually have to consider that the wave 1 would have bottomed here. This would have been the wave 2 top, the wave 3 bottom, and I would expect a wave 4 and a wave 5 to complete this overall structure. And we can even look for the ideal target for the wave 3. See if it has been actually reached, and it has. We have just pushed past the 138.2% extension today. And in terms of resistance, I am looking for the levels up to the 61.8% retracement for a potential wave 4 within this idea of an ending diagonal. So I'm watching up to $26.15, and I do want to see a sustained break above that to remove the possibility of this scenario to allow further extensions to lower prices. Then I do want to highlight that other types of patterns that would allow extensions to lower prices would be possible. This is not the only possible structure I could consider in the case of this chart. I could track even a complete wave C within this structure, right? I could consider wave 1 to have bottomed here, this to have been the wave 2 top, wave 3 down, wave 4 up, wave 5 down. that structure actually fits quite well. So I wouldn't necessarily be buying a breakout in the case of getting past these levels as a short thing. Yes, it is possible to build a larger A, B, C pattern, but then we could track an incredible amount of interpretations that would allow this pattern to extend lower. There are quite a few options, but I wanted to provide to you a general idea of what we can really expect within this structure. What I consider to be most interesting is certainly going to be this area from the 50% retracement at $20 and lower. Yeah, the 61.8% retracement, also a very interesting level to consider. And then this massive chunk of structural support we have previously identified just below $18. And for now, we will stop here. These are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. And if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.